Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on when you are watching this video, and welcome to another ACC video. We are in our league racing once again, checkered flag racing, the second race of the season here at the circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Now, our first race was interesting. I think we finished like 19th, we had pace to do better. So here for Barcelona, I wanted to keep things clean, and coming up is my fastest qualifying lap of the session. Now, in practice beforehand, I did get like a 43.9, and then in the hour leading up to qualifying, I couldn't match that time. I was doing like, genuinely, I was doing mid 45 and I couldn't get anywhere near it. So thankfully, coming towards the end of the session, I managed to sneak into the 44s, and with one last lap left, I knew I had pace. So turn one, you want to brake at about 110 meters down into second gear, using up all of the curb, and then through this left-hander, get on the power as early as possible, use up all of the track before pulling it to the left, and then just being really gentle on the throttle. Get on the power, let the car all the way out, and we are already a 10th up on our PB. Braking just before we go under the bridge, down into second gear, and again, it's about holding it tight, being patient before you release the steering and get on the throttle. Braking as we go over the crest, down into first gear. I found out in hindsight that second gear was actually better, so maybe there was even another 10th because I was definitely losing time through that left-hander. This is the trickiest corner of the circuit. Second gear, it's adverse camber. It is so tricky to get right, to find the grip, but we get it right. And then this right-hander. In quali trim, you keep it in fourth. In the race, it's third. I don't quite get the best of run, so we end up dropping a 10th or so through that corner. And then heading down into, I believe this is turn 10. First gear, get it at the apex, get on the power. Again, there was a little bit more time there. Then through the left kink, completely flat, drop it down into second, hold it nice and tight through this corner. Again, just feeding on the throttle, waiting for the perfect moment to get on the power. There was a little bit of time there. We could have got onto the power earlier. Down into second, nice and smooth through the right, so you don't unsettle the car. You can pull it back to the right. Then for this chicane where you just want to open up the steering as much as possible, get on the power nice and early. And with that, we are 7/10ths up on our PB. A 44.2, and there was definitely a 43 in that lap. Easily another 3/10ths, I think. If we watch that video back, or if we watch the lap back, there were definitely points where I lose a fair bit of time compared to what was previously my PB. And you can see, if, you know, we're about 4/10ths off P9. So I'm not going to complain. I think P14 was definitely possible, you know, only a 10th. But I think I've definitely got the pace to battle with even all the way up to, you know, P9 in qualifying. But I did think that my race pace was a lot better than my quali pace based on practice. So here is the race. We are all lining up double file. It's single file for the formation lap, and then we do pull into double file. Now, I just wanted to essentially just be nice and calm for this race start, because if I get damaged, that is my race over, right? It's screwed. That doesn't mean I want to drive like a little bitch, but I'm going to just be a little bit careful. So we get underway, not the best of starts. We just didn't keep our speed at 43. We've got Sandro Fan Sand right behind us, good old friend from FXR racing days, and we were in BC for this race, as was Recreate and Archie Mauer, as well as Outlaw, who is being my effective race engineer. I kind of outbrake myself. I have a little love tap with the 83 car. Not much damage, you'll be surprised to know. It was like a 10th of damage. I end up checking. Now we've got someone on my inside, and I was just trying to see how brave I could be holding it around the outside of turn 3, and we hold on to the position. We've gained one spot. We did have a little knock into turn 1, but it's okay. We go a bit too wide through turn 4. And the rear end just wants to kick out on us, but we keep it in check, and all is good. Still got a car on our outside, and now we're boxed in through turn 5, so just going to try to get on the power nice and early, which is exactly what I do. And now I'm having a think, okay, can I go up the inside into the chicane? And I think, you know what, why not? Second gear, we get up on the inside. That's where all the grip is. On the outside, it's a little bit more slippery. We can't make the move stick. We just don't get the traction, it seems. So heading into this right-hander, I drop it down into third gear, because it's still first lap, and I still don't know how the car is exactly going to feel with, you know, the new tyres and a lot of fuel on board, or I should say cold tyres. So through the hairpin, I think, oh, maybe I've got a chance to slot up the inside. Not quite there, and the 83 of Mr. Link holds on to P14 for now. So we've had a really entertaining and actually fun opening lap to this race, and then heading into this chicane, I have a bit of a moment, and now I'm having a look for the outside. There's nothing there, so in the end, I look for the switchback, and I do get a really good run onto the Audi, so I'm going to close right in. I did have to give a little lift, because I was getting too close to the rear end of the Audi, and as a result, that does cost me on corner exit. For those of you new to my videos on the Checkered Flag Racing League, 45-minute race, we have to do one mandatory pit stop with a tyre change in it. So we put a fuel change as well, and I stupidly have a thing, or maybe I can hold it around the outside. Absolutely not. Really dumb. So as a result, we lose about half a second to the driver ahead, which isn't good. It also compromised him as well, so it would have been just smarter just to lift off and follow him through. So either way, we're in P15. It's where we started from. I can't really complain with that race start, but heading on towards the end of lap 2, myself and Link have closed into this big cluster of cars up ahead that goes all the way up to, I want to say P8, something like that, and I'm just thinking, okay, how am I going to get through? I am slowly catching up. I catch up a lot through the right kink, and then here there's a moment and I think, okay, I guess I've got to go to the outside. I kind of navigate through it, and then a bit of contact. As it turns out, we are 3 abreast, and just like that, I'm up into P12. I gained a few places. I've got 1.7 seconds worth of damage. It's not terrible, it's not great. And then a little bit later on that lap, we're catching up to a McLaren who was having a lot of issues. His rear end looked very unstable again through turn 9 or turn 8, and yeah, we just get a free position. So we're up into P11, and at this point I was thinking, you know, a top 10 is really possible. Maybe I have a chance of actually being able to make it. And now heading up into this left-hander, I get a rear end from Mr. Servant. He's not being a very good servant to me with that. Maybe he thought he was clearing up my rear end, I don't know. But yeah, that gave me 5 seconds of damage nearly, which was annoying, and it was just a stupid hit up the rear from him. I don't know if I braked early. I was feeling the pressure a bit. However, we catch up to Servant at the start of the next lap, and I'm looking to the outside now, making sure I give just about enough space. I think we made a little touch of contact, but in the end he holds on to the position. I just couldn't hold it around the outside. And essentially after that I thought, you know, I can't do that because I'm just costing the pair of us time. And Servant was quicker than me, and I was quicker than Fenrir in 10th. So I just thought, look, let's just work together. We can catch up to the 2 up ahead, and I think this lap I actually lift off. Yeah, there you go. I back out of the move because I just think I'm just going to lose time if I battle with Servant here. So I'll just, you know, sit behind. I take too much curb, and that little sausage does unsettle the car. So that's cost me just half a second straight up, which was really stupid. And then the rear end decides to have a massive go at me as I try to get on the power. Now Link has closed in. No, I do think I was faster than this Audi, but I am trying to hold it all the way around the outside. But yeah, inside is just a shorter route. I end up hitting a wheel into the grass as well, and I've got to yield. And now I've got Sandro behind me once again. But this was just really annoying. I don't know if the damage was costing me a little bit of time. Probably. Not a huge amount though. But this is now on lap 8, so we've pulled away from the guys behind. We've kind of kept up with these 2 further ahead of us who are now having a little bit of side pod bashing. So I'm just thinking, is there a way that I can take advantage of this? So we've got, I think that's Servant in front of us, and Link, who has moved up into P10. No pit stops have been made just yet, so this is actually the battle for P10. I think someone must have had a spin somewhere, and we were just able to take advantage of that and just gain a position. So again, I'm just kind of following these guys, hoping that they work together so that we can catch up to P9, because it definitely felt like they were faster than P8 and P9. You can just see them on the mini-map, but because they were battling, or because we were battling, it was just costing us time. And I personally felt like I had the pace to keep up with them. Here on lap 9, someone's had a spin. That's Friedrichs, who was in P9, I think. It was him and Fenrir who I think had some kind of a contact. So now Fenrir is much closer to us. He's only 5 seconds up the road. And now we're in second because we extended our stint all the way until the end. You can see we've got 1.3 litres of fuel. I end up going on the brakes way too early, so I lose about a second there. And I was, you know, debating, do I want to fix the damage on my car or not? In the end, I decided, let's fix the damage. Let's see how much pace we had, because while it might not feel like much, 6 seconds might be having a big impact. And even if it's like half a second a lap, I'll make that up. Actually, I don't know. I need 12 laps, and I don't think there are 12 laps. So yeah, I don't know. I just decided to make the call and fix the damage. So I think it might have cost me. You'll see when we come out of the pits where we are relative to everyone else. I'm a little bit late on getting off the pit limiter. So that's, I think that's Fenrir, and Linker is up in P8. So if I hadn't done that, I think I would have been well, if I didn't make the change to the, if I didn't repair the car, and if I didn't have the slow pit entry, I'd be right on the back of Linker. But I'd still have that little bit of damage to the car. And now I've got Sandro right behind me. So we're in the top 10, and I kind of knew that I had more pace than Sandro. Sorry, Sandro. But in fairness to Sandro, he didn't do any practice really until about an hour before the race. So yeah. But eventually we pulled away from Sandro. That's Chelly, who binned it, which was funny because a few laps before he was saying that we wouldn't catch him to lap him, and then he bottles it himself. But we're on actually a pretty good lap, and then we outbrake ourselves massively heading down into turn 9. I was about 3/10 up on my PB, which would have been a low 44. And you can see in this stint, my lap times are a lot better than what they were in the previous stint. I don't know by how much. I don't know if it was worth it to make the change to repair the damage, but I am catching up to this guy in front of me, so I can't complain. And it does mean we've got a good battle up ahead. I'm also catching up to Linker, who is one position further up in P8. And now with 7 minutes to go, I'm right on the back of Fenrir in this battle for P9. And I just take a little bit too much curb through the right-hander of the chicane. It unsettles the car. I don't quite get a lot of speed coming out of the corner. And this in particular wasn't a good lap anyway. It was a 45.0, but I think I do gain. I mean, you can see that I'm gaining a fair bit towards the end of the straight. I'm not sure if that's because he's got damage or if that's a McLaren versus Porsche difference. And we get the car stopped as well on the apex, so I think we're a little bit better on the brakes as well than him. But we end up losing a bit of time on corner exits. So now with 5 minutes to go, that's about 4 laps, considering that we're a fair bit behind the leaders. We're again coming into this chicane, and I get a much better run this time. We're very close to the rear end of the Porsche. Now I'm just thinking, okay, how do I want to get this move done? Am I looking for the inside or for the outside? And you can see that we're closing in by a fair amount as well here. So I decide, you know, let's go for the inside. He's left the door open. I jump on the brakes, maybe not late enough. I could have gone on the brakes later and left him low and just left him no room. And then he kind of knows that he's ahead of me, so he's able to slam the door shut into turn 3. And this was all frustrating me because we've lost so much time in this battle, right? I've already lost a second on this lap. I've lost some time before. And if it wasn't for this, I could have caught up to Linker. Whether I could have overtaken him, I don't know. And all the while, behind me, on the minimap, you can see as well, is Servant, who was absolutely flying. He was doing, I think, high 43s, which I could have almost matched, but I can't because I'm stuck. I'm stuck behind this guy. I think if I'm by myself, I'm probably lapping like 3/10 a lap slower than Servant, but I'm just trying to put Fenrir off, just trying to make him make a mistake while, you know, looking in his mirrors. And he hasn't made any mistakes so far. So heading on the brakes then down into, what is this, turn, I always forget if it's turn 9 or turn 10, but the hairpin at the start of sector 3. And I know where I have to make my move. It's into turn 1. I need to get a good run through this final sector and have a go, because I know if I don't, Servant's going to catch up to me, and then Servant's going to have a go somewhere. So I wanted to get this Porsche between me and Servant as quickly as possible. And we don't get the best of runs out the chicane. Servant goes, oh, not Servant. Fenrir goes a little bit wide, so I thought maybe that would give me the drive, but it doesn't. And we're doing 46s, and there you can see, oh sorry, it's Tamo, not Servant. So Tamo's doing high 43s, and he's catching up to us. And I think Tamo's in a BMW, if I recall correctly. And in the end, I go on the brakes at what feels like the right point for me, but I just close in so much. I've got to go for the inside. I get left room, and then I tap his rear end. So yeah, that's my fault. You know, I'll accept the blame for that. Just a stupid mistake. No excuse for it, really. Yeah, I'm just kind of explaining what happened, how it happened, which was I felt like I went on the brakes at the normal point, and yeah, I just caught up to him way too much on the braking. But heading on to the final lap, I've not had a good last lap, 45-1, and I know that Tamo's right behind me, and I know I can't make any mistakes. So heading into turn 1, I outbraked myself. Great start to the final lap when I'm under pressure. I was really sweating on this last lap. I was so nervous. Because P9 is my best result of the season. Only the second round, but I wasn't actually expecting to be in the top 10, so I just wanted to bring it home. And then into turn 4, I again run wide, and the more mistakes I was making, the more nervous I was getting as well. And it was just a roll-on effect, or a knock-on effect, I guess you could say. And I don't know, I was just struggling so much. I was so nervous on this lap. You know, you can see me looking behind, heading into this chicane. I'm just thinking, okay, where can I get overtaken? At the end of this straight coming up, I could get past. Maybe there's a possibility that I get sent into the final chicane. So I have a look behind me and I think, oh, I think I'm clear. So heading into this corner, I do turn in early, just in case he has a send. I'm just saying, look, I've got the inside covered. You can't send me. And now it's just a few corners left. And honestly, at this point, I was just thinking, look, if I lose this position, it's going to be so stupid. And I can be as slow as I want. It's not getting past. And if there was one more lap, I would not have held on to P9. I was choking like crazy. So yeah, I just couldn't drive like I was with the pressure from Tamo behind me. So yeah, we take P9, which I'm very happy with. There was that little incident into turn 1, which was obviously a bit stupid for myself. I had a bit of damage. If it wasn't for that damage, I mean, look, I was still only 8 or so seconds behind Linker, so I think P8 was definitely possible. And for the next round of the season, I'm going to try to do even better than P9. I'm going to try to get, you know, like a top 7 or something like that. It should be fun. But thank you everyone for watching. If you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the race in the comments below. There you go, some post-race entertainment. Tamo drifting through every single corner in his GTR. But yeah, that's everything for this time, and I'll see you all for the next race in 2 weeks' time.